So let's talk about how I brainwashed myself to change my life. Just a few years ago, I was stuck in a cycle, so stuck, and I felt like I couldn't get out of it. I was desperate for change. I was trying to do everything I could to change my situation of being broke, not having enough money to pay rent or bills, working 12, sometimes 14 hours a day on multiple businesses that I was trying to get off the ground, but none of them were taking root. None of them were paying me back in equal measure from what I was giving out into those businesses. I was overthinking every move I made. I was constantly procrastinating and self-sabotaging myself. I was neglecting myself, neglecting my friends and family, and overworking myself to the point of burnout. Through clouds of insecurity and imposter syndrome, I would get these blips of motivation. I'd convince myself that this time things are going to be different, only to repeat the same cycles and crash again. And for years, it felt like no matter what I tried, nothing was changing. Until one day I realized I've got to approach this in a completely different way. Clearly, it's not just about working harder and harder. It was impossible for me to work harder. So I thought I've got to look in a different direction. It wasn't my work ethic that was holding me back. I was sick and tired of guilting myself into doing more work anyway. And I realized instead that it was my mind that was holding me back. So I did something drastic because I realized something drastic needed to happen. I brainwashed myself on purpose and my entire life changed. Now, before I guide you through the exact process I used to brainwash myself to change my life, I do want to acknowledge that the word brainwashing often is triggering and has negative connotations, and for good reason, right? Because usually when we use the word brainwash, it's being used in a negative context. It's being used in the context of a corrupt government brainwashing its people to believe a certain dogma. It's used in the context of media outlets and propaganda causing people to be brainwashed to believe a certain ideology. It's used in the context of young, vulnerable people becoming radicalized through extremist people on social media manipulating and changing their minds without their control. But this is the fundamental difference. I'm using the word in a completely different context. I am talking about taking complete control of your own thoughts, brain, mindset, life. This is the other sadly true part of the modern day world that we live in. If we are not taking control of what we brainwash ourselves with, you can be pretty sure that lots of other entities and governments and advertising companies and pharmaceutical companies and all of them are investing millions into, or even billions, into brainwashing us to conform, to believe certain things, to buy into certain things, etc. I feel like it started off as like here's a cool thing that you could do if you want to, because this is what worked for me and this helped me to transform the results I was getting in life. But perhaps actually this video is more essential than ever. Perhaps actually in addition to that, this video is about how to take back radical control of your beliefs, your mindset, so that you can start getting the game of life to work more in your favor, because you are deciding what you believe is available to you, is possible for you. And by doing that, by getting your own brain to work for you, not against you, by being aware of what you're feeding your brain with, and by feeding your brain with the best possible stories and narratives for your life that you could possibly imagine, I think possibly it's not just a nice to have, it's a need to have in today's world. Anyway, I went a bit off script, didn't know I was going to rant like that, but let me know if it resonated. So if you've ever felt stuck, if you've ever felt like the patterns in your life are ones that you can't break out of, if you've ever felt like, well, I've tried working hard and that's only got me so far, so something else has got to give quite significantly for me to actually create the life that I want to create. And also if you feel like you have been being bombarded constantly by so many external voices, noise, narratives that are causing you to feel like crap, then this video is for you. Buckle up, grab yourself a cup of tea. I'm going to walk you through the positive brainwashing process that helped me to not only break free from my own constraints, but in many ways helped me to take back control of the life that I'm living to create the kind of life that I want for myself and my family. So rewinding back a few years ago, before I started the process of positively brainwashing myself to become successful and to transform my life, I was actually already consuming a lot of manifestation content, but it was overwhelming me. It felt like a lot of it was contradicting itself. And if I'm honest with myself, I was very well educated in all the theory, but I was not implementing any of it consistently enough for it to change anything in my mindset, my subconscious beliefs, or my energy. Some of you may be able to relate to that perhaps you are really good at watching YouTube videos about manifestation. You love it because it makes you feel good in the moment. It gives you that positive boost of energy, which isn't a bad thing. It gives you even a dopamine hit because you're watching videos where people are telling you, you can change your life like this, you can change your life like that. But then when you put your phone down, you're not actually practicing or implementing anything that is being taught. And it might feel very overwhelming to do so. So there are 4 steps that I'm going to walk you through in this video. These are the 4 steps actually that I guide my students through inside of Align, my manifestation program, because this is the work that really makes a difference and will change your life. So step 1 is to identify the root beliefs that have been keeping you cycling in the same holding pattern in your life. Whether that be never being able to catch a break at work, never being able to increase a certain income level, never being able to stick to a healthy routine long enough to change your body in the ways that you want to, never being able to find bliss and deep happiness in a relationship, always seeming to attract drama and people's problems. So what I had to do is I had to get radically honest with myself. This isn't about being critical. This isn't about beating yourself up or giving yourself a hard time. It's about starting to listen to yourself. It's about starting to pay attention to yourself and making a mental or a physical note of the stories that go round and round in your head, the assumptions that we have decided are true for how things can't happen a certain way or why things will never work a certain way. You'll even start to notice that certain stories are being told to you from multiple people, right? Whether it's about what it's like to be a mum, what it's like to be a woman, what it's like to be in this economy, in this country, right? And we hear people all often saying the same negative, limited story about how difficult it has to be. And something that I started doing was deciding, you know what? If I don't like that story, I'm not going to subscribe to it. That's not how I want life to work for me. So becoming aware of and identifying the stories around you that actually you don't want to subscribe to, and also becoming aware of the stories that you tell yourself about why you're not ready, you're not good enough, or it needs to be this way, or it can never happen that way. Identify them without judgment, okay? Just with curiosity. Because we all have these stories. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a failure. This is exciting. Anytime you identify a new limiting belief, get excited, because it means that it's no longer going to be controlling you, because you are now controlling it. You are now in control. Now you can do something about it, because it is no longer like a mask that you can't see that is affecting the way that you see through that mask. Imagine if you have this mask on, you're looking through it and it's distorting the way that you see life. But it's so close, you're wearing it, you're so used to wearing it that you don't even realize that it exists. You don't even realize you're wearing it. Whereas once you realize, oh, this is the mask with these stories, with these limits, with these assumptions, and you take it off and you can look at it from this perspective, you suddenly have taken back your power. So step 2 is to then rewrite the story. I took every limiting belief that I had and I flipped it into affirmations, but not just like, I am rich, I am beautiful, okay? Because those kind of affirmations, especially when you're really not believing that, don't do it for me. They probably don't do it for you either, right? So if I wanted to create a new story, I would start using language like, I am open to receiving more money. I'm grateful that more money always comes to me into my account. Things that my body and my mind could get on board with, more than telling myself affirmations that just felt like lies. You get what I mean? It is safe for me to feel beautiful, rather than feeling like crap but lying to myself saying I am beautiful, it is safe for me to feel beautiful. Okay, maybe I'm allowed to like what I see in the mirror. Maybe I'm allowed to soften the way I see myself. Maybe I'm allowed to be kinder to my reflection. Maybe there are parts of me that actually are beautiful in my own unique way. Now you are on a different track. Now the momentum can start to pick up along this new story. You got to find the way to get yourself, the first baby step on that track in order to ever get there. I also started using this technique of rewriting the story to start normalizing my goals, right? So instead of thinking, I never have enough money. I wish that I could make 10K a month, 20K a month like these other women do. I wish that I could do whatever. You're thinking about what you want, but you're fully loaded up with all of the I don't have it energy, with all of the lack energy, with all of the it's not available to me energy. Okay, so we've got to change that. So I started to say to myself, it is so normal for me to earn X amount per month. Another month has gone by, and once again, I've received X amount of money into my account, and this just feels so normal for me now, so safe. It's actually easier than ever. I'm not actually working any harder than I used to work, but all of a sudden, this money has come through, and you know what? It doesn't feel any particularly different. It feels nice. I'm grateful for it, but I'm still me. All of the good things in my life are still the good things in my life. My savings are growing, which feels wonderful. It's really, really nice. This isn't just about telling yourself an affirmation. This is about telling yourself a new story. This is about helping your brain to feel safe and open to and used to and familiar with the things that have up until now felt like your wildest dreams and therefore have felt really far away and not possible for you. So it's about bringing them closer by finding the words to help them to feel like it's something that is within your experience. Step 3 is subconscious reprogramming. This is the part that a lot of people neglect. This is the part that a lot of people never do, and therefore they don't see results. This is why I love techniques like scripting, visualization, and the Neville Goddard technique of falling asleep in the wish fulfilled. They're really the only manifestation techniques I use, along with EFT tapping, which is another actually great one. I don't want that to be a side note. I want that to be up there with the others. Okay, so those are my top 4 techniques that I don't just do once in a blue moon, and I don't do it with the energy of desperation and lack. I use those techniques to help brainwash myself to believe the new stories, to normalize things that were once big lofty goals, and to help my brain to no longer feel like they're big lofty goals and they're already mine. The first and a bonus tip for you, as soon as you wake up every morning while you're still coming round and you're a bit groggy, right? And just as drifting off to sleep, those 2 times a day are the 2 times of day when your subconscious mind is most open, easiest to talk to, easiest to reprogram, right? So leverage those 2 times of day, experiencing those 2 windows of opportunity every single day anyway. You're waking up every day anyway. You're falling asleep every night anyway. You may as well leverage those 2 times of day to rewire your subconscious and brainwash yourself intentionally instead of letting this brainwash you. Yeah? You know what I mean? Don't let social media, don't let scrolling imprint itself into your subconscious mind, and especially first thing in the morning or last thing before you go to bed. Do not feed your subconscious mind with all of that crap, okay? Now that you know the importance and the power of that time of day, you want to utilize it. You want to be back in control and the driver's seat of your life, brainwashing yourself, choosing what you feed your subconscious with. After about 3 months of taking this process seriously, I started to see results appear in my reality. But this isn't a video telling you just do this once and you'll be an overnight success and it will happen instantly. I would much rather create a video for you that is actually going to give you results. And again, within my manifestation program, Align, I support my clients to lock in and focus on doing doing this kind of work with my support and with the support of the community for 90 days. Because there's something powerful about 90 days. There's something powerful about when you commit to a 90-day stint. You start to really build momentum in that time. You start to really make shifts in your subconscious programming in that amount of time. And I've noticed in my life that there tends to be this sort of 90-day magic. When I commit to anything, the momentum, the results, the feeling of, oh my God, it's actually happening, tends to show up for me within 90 days. Whether that is 90 days after writing my first ever scripting letter, the first few things on my scripting letter started to materialize into my life. Whether that was 90 days after rewiring my brain with new stories through the Parrot app and tapping and affirming these new stories into my brain. That was how many days I did it for. And then actually 9 months after that, the things that I was rewiring my brain with all showed up in my reality. So don't throw in the towel. If you try this a couple of times, if you dip your toe in and you go back and forth and it doesn't work, don't let your brain tell you that manifestation isn't working for you, okay? Trust that what is required is that you just commit a little bit more and you take this a little bit more seriously. And I know it can be hard. This is why my clients inside of Align love the fact that they are supported with this community. They're not doing it alone. You are so much more likely to get results when you're not doing it on your own. It all broken down into baby steps. They just focus on what I'm sharing with them, like do this now and then do that and then do that. You know, that's why I'm so proud of the program and why it's working so well for people, is because I'm aware that it can be hard to do it alone. It's not impossible, but having that support system and step-by-step process can make it a whole lot easier. Then step 4, the final step that I share with my aligned students, is to take aligned action. So this isn't just about thinking differently, but it starts with thinking differently. Once you have started thinking differently, once you have reprogrammed your subconscious to be running on a different operating system, you are naturally going to take a different kind of action. The things that are actually very simple to do, but that perhaps you stop yourself from doing. Imagine if your own brain wasn't self-sabotaging you and procrastinating and giving you a million reasons why you're not ready. And imagine if your own brain was just like, oh yeah, let's just do the simple things. Let's just send that email, post that thing on social media, say hello to that person, create that another page of my book or whatever. You know, like in theory, so much of the action required to create the life of our dreams is relatively very, very simple. Often the hardest aspect of it is up here, our brain making it feel hard, our brain trying to stop us. And this is why following this process and brainwashing yourself to become successful and create the life that you've always wanted to create is often the missing piece for people. There are people that try to just take the action without having gone through these other steps and then wonder why they're fighting against their own mind, or the action that they're taking isn't yielding the success to come down. You know, they're not able to receive the success despite the fact that they're putting so much energy out there. So once I changed my identity through this positive brainwashing, it was like suddenly results that I had felt were unavailable to me just started to come through. I became the person who had 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. It just, I don't want to say like it just came, because obviously it's been a journey, an amazing creative journey of creating thousands of videos. But it's like I went from being someone where for years stuff like that didn't happen for me to becoming that person where I was observing results like that come through. It wasn't until I positively brainwashed myself in this way that I was able to create my signature manifestation program, which has now gone on to help hundreds of women all over the world. Even the whole incredible journey of moving to Spain and being granted permanent residency and living in a villa and just like the life that I used to dream about, the car that we drive, like material stuff, okay? But also stuff that is so much more meaningful than that. Quality of life, what my day-to-day routine gets to be. I wished for it and struggled with it and didn't have it for years. And now I get to live on a daily basis so many of the things that I used to dream about, and it's all on the other side of having positively brainwashed myself to do it, to feel like I can have it, to know that it can be easy for me, to normalize it, and to decide to subscribe to the stories that I wanted to subscribe to, not to subscribe necessarily to other people's stories if I didn't want to experience it myself. If you take nothing else, please take this. You don't have to earn your worthiness. You don't have to wait until you're good enough. And you don't have to achieve anything more before you're allowed to feel successful, clever, beautiful in yourself. You're already more than ready. You're already more than good enough to receive a much, much, much better quality life for yourself. You just need to start shifting the stories that you tell yourself every single day that have been cutting yourself off from the life that you can have. So comment below, what's a limiting belief that you are ready to let go of? And what could your new story sound like instead? And feel free to support each other in the comments, encouraging each other, and even helping each other to create your new stories if you're struggling. If my signature manifestation program feels like something that you would like to be a part of, I will put the link to join the waitlist for the next time the doors to Align are open. And if you want to get your hands into something straight away, I've created something else called the 21-day Release the Blocks Challenge for you. Imagine over the next 21 days having one bite-sized lesson per day. A quick 10-minute lesson, a quick thing to practice. That, once you go through the whole 21-day process, will help you to completely shift what you've been believing about yourself, shift and reprogram your subconscious mind for the better so that your own brain starts working for you instead of feeling like it's working against you. This is the fundamental work, remember, that gets life, as if by magic, to start working differently for you. It's all the power of your amazing subconscious mind. So I will put the link down below if you want to look into the 21-day Release the Blocks Challenge, which you can start today. If you found this video useful, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, make sure to press the subscribe button and ring my bell so you never miss another video. Or if you're listening to this as a podcast, which is now something that I am doing so that people can access this information in more ways than one, then do what you do with podcasts. Is it 5-star reviews? Things like that. Yeah, and thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye.